wanted to let you know that I am doing a deep dive study in the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible, all prophecy about what's coming, what's to come. I don't know if you knew that. The entire Old Testament, New Testament, about a fourth of it's prophecy. And I'm really excited about this study, especially given all the things that are happening in this world that we're going through currently in the news. I mean, it's been a bit of a crazy ride. I know you are experiencing it as well. You can't go anywhere or see anything without being hit by all the fear mongering and concerns of everywhere. So it's really awesome to be going through this Revelation study right now because it talks about everything that's coming, including Russia, Iran, Israel, including the end times, really. Just to summarize some of the learnings that I've had with you here today is the Bible was written over about 1,500 years time period in total by about 40 people wrote the Bible, everything from fishermen and shepherds, philosophers and kings, are writers, authors of these 66 books that are together and comprise the Bible. Yet when you start studying it, I think the most astounding thing you find is it all is intertwined together. And this story that God has for all of humankind is so cleanly orchestrated and organized in the history of humankind in the Bible. It's actually really stunning when you start to realize. And you have the Old Testament, which is a bunch of prophecy about what's coming in the New Testament, which is Jesus. It prepares people for what's coming in the Savior that's coming to save the world from sin. You've got 400 years in between the Old Testament to before the New Testament starts and Jesus is born. And during those 400 years, I don't know if you realize this, but the Jews they had studied and they were obsessed with studying and so diligent in the Old Testament. Many of them still are today, right? But the Old Testament is telling them, hey, there's a Savior coming, there's a Messiah coming, and he's going to save you from all this persecution. He's going to save you from evil. He's going to save you from bad and make a way to save you and give you victory in him. And they were thinking that this Messiah would come and save them from the Romans. And they were planning on Jesus coming and being a warrior and like knives a-blazing, swords a-blazing, go into battle and save them from these Romans. But what they didn't realize is no, Jesus, the Messiah, was coming to save them from sin, from evil, from death, from ultimate death and separation from God. And Jesus came and he was meek, he was kind, he was soft-spoken, he was loving. He taught about loving your brother, turning the other cheek. And they were so, the disciples, when you start to read that, they were so disillusioned. Like, why aren't we fighting? We need to be fighting. Why aren't we, let's go kill everybody. And Jesus is like, no, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to save you from sin. But anyway, the Old Testament prophesied about what was coming in the New Testament. The New Testament and the Old Testament all together prophesy about what's coming even still today. And the end times, if you start to study Revelations, you see a lot of these things are coming together. Everything from artificial intelligence to the internet to what's happening in Israel, what's happening with Russia and Iran and China, all of that is in the Bible. And unfolds in Revelations to ultimate victory where Jesus returns for his people and there's heaven on earth, literally. The Garden of Eden, when man was banned from the Garden of Eden because of the temptation through Satan and eating the apple and first sin appearing on earth, all the way to Revelations where the tree of life is back and all the things that God created with the Garden of Eden, it's heaven on earth again at the end of the world. So he ultimately, this plan that God has for all of humankind is so intricately woven throughout the Bible, and we're living really at the tail end of it today. And so it's really been a fascinating study so far. And as I go through this study, I'm going to be sharing more and more with you guys, just bit by bit as I go through it. So far, the first two studies have been, hey, how is the Bible orchestrated? What is going on in all of these books, and how do they all intertwine and work together? And so we've been doing, cross-referencing of Daniel and Psalm to Matthew and Luke and to Revelations and all these things that, like, this happened in the Old Testament. Here it is again in the New Testament. And you think about, there is no way you get, 40 different types of authors over 1,500 years to put that together. That was definitely God inspired, especially how interwoven it is. And so that's what we've been studying so far. And now it's starting to introduce Revelations and Jesus appearing in Revelations and revealing. Revelations is the revelation of Jesus Christ, of what's coming, and the end times, the ultimate victory over Satan. God created Satan. Satan chose to go against God. And in the end, God through Jesus has victory over Satan. So that's what I'm studying. I'll be giving you guys snippets as I go, and I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. You guys take care and have a great day. Cheers.